Good. So why is this specifically an interesting topic for us as coaches? You know, if we look at the market and we look at a lot of the conversations going on, it seems like a lot of people are really scared and fearful of artificial intelligence specifically. And ChatGPT is just one artificial intelligence tool that we can use. And I've worked in the IT industry for well over 30 years. And in my mind, normally when people are scared of something, it's because they either don't understand what it is about, and they just need a period of time to transition to understanding a specific tool or a specific way of doing things, or it's because they're really fearful that this is something that's going to threaten them. So one of the things I want to share with you tonight is that ChatGPT is actually a very valuable virtual tool that can significantly boost your capabilities as a coach if you learn how to use it. One of the things about being a coach is, and this is probably about 80 to 90% of the coaches that I'm familiar with, are working mostly on their own. So they're running a little coaching practice for themselves. And they are challenged with a number of skills that sits outside of the skill of being a good coach. So for example, you might decide to run your own little coaching practice, and now suddenly you have to do strategic thinking for this business that you are creating. And the strategic thinking is a totally different skill to coaching. And the same thing with marketing, because you need to be able to market yourself and sell yourself, which is once again a skill that is outside of the traditional coaching skills. And so this is where ChatGPT is particularly invaluable for us as coaches, because it can help us with all of these tasks. It can help us to do strategic thinking. It can help us to compile marketing messages. It can help us expand our own coaching skills and many, many other things. So with that in mind, this is the agenda for this evening. I'm going to briefly discuss just a little bit, like a minute or two, about what is ChatGPT. What I'm also going to be doing is I'm actually going to flip between this PowerPoint presentation and ChatGPT, and I'm actually going to show you how to do the stuff that I'm talking about on ChatGPT. Okay, I'm also recording the session and I'll publish it online and on my YouTube group. If towards the end of the session, I will just drop my email address on there. And if you want to sort of go and have a look at the session again, you will be very, very welcome to do that. And look at the things that I've been doing. What I'll also do over the next day or so, I will create a proper document with all of these prompts and the answers from ChatGPT. And if you want it and you email me, I will share that document with you. So okay, so we're going to talk about ChatGPT. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about strategic thinking for your coaching practice. Which is one of those things that if you run your own little coaching business, you don't always think about how to structure and set up the thinking behind your practice. I'm going to show you some stuff around the coaching process, how you can use ChatGPT in the coaching process. And then I'm going to briefly touch on how you can do business development. Okay, and this is not about getting more business. This business development is about other tasks that you can do to build your practice. Like, for example, how do you generate content? How do you start adding value to something like your website, for example? And then I'll talk a little bit about considerations around ChatGPT. There's always some things you should think about deeply when you start using tools like this. And then something I haven't put on here, but we'll talk about it, is just some of the benefits that ChatGPT brings to you. Good. So let's go to where it starts. Okay. And maybe before we talk about ChatGPT, let's quickly just take a step back and talk about artificial intelligence, or AI. What is it? Okay. And AI simply refers to the simulation of human intelligence in computer systems. Okay. So there's no magic to it. It's basically a simulation of the skills that humans have and the way that they think and the things that they do. And artificial intelligence involves the development of algorithms, of software, and hardware, of course, that enable machines to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. So in a way, AI is the automation of human thinking skills. Okay, and some of these skills include, for example, problem solving, reasoning, learning, perception, language understanding, decision making. And as I'm going to show you tonight, that actually I'm going to show you how you can use ChatGPT as a virtual AI coach. Or not. It's up to you. This is the wonderful thing about free will. You can choose to use any or some or all of what I'm showing you tonight, or you could just go and learn a lot more and get to a level of thinking that I'm not at even. So what is ChatGPT? Now, ChatGPT is a variant of the generative pre-trained transformer language model that was developed by OpenAI. And it's specifically designed for generating human-like text in a conversational manner. So ChatGPT is part of a family of AI models that have been fine-tuned for natural language understanding and generation, which makes it very useful and well-suited for tasks that involves text-based conversations. Now, if you haven't used ChatGPT before, okay, sorry, I'm just moving a few things around. This is the website where you can go and subscribe. And let me copy and paste it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it for you. Okay, so if you go to that website, you can go and subscribe to use ChatGPT. There is a free subscription, which will give you ChatGPT version 3.5 to work with, or you can actually pay us a fee, and then you can use the more advanced ChatGPT version 4. Everything that I'm going to show you tonight, you can do on the free ChatGPT. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over to, okay, come ChatGPT, where are you? Sorry. I'll move it back in a minute. There we go. Okay, so let me just move this around. I'll just show you. So this is what ChatGPT looks like. If you go into the address, you will see there's some conversations on the left-hand side that I've already been having with ChatGPT. And I also just want to remind you, this is a tool that has only been released into the wild in November of last year. So ChatGPT has not even had its first birthday yet. Okay, and everything that you see within ChatGPT is a culmination of all of the information that's been processed through this natural language model. And the other thing that happens is, as we use ChatGPT, it actually adds everything that we do to that whole model, which of course now sort of brings the first issue that we have with ChatGPT is anything that you, if anything that you add to it becomes part of the model, there might be issues around confidentiality and privacy. So that is one of the things that we have to consider when we start working with ChatGPT. Okay. The way that we work with ChatGPT is very, very simple. We ask it questions. And it can be simple questions or it can be more complicated questions. So I'm going to start with the very first, very simple question. I also just want to sort of say in advance, the last session that we had a couple of issues in terms of performance. So sometimes it might take a little while before ChatGPT answers us, but let's see how it goes. So I'm going to put in a very, very simple question. I'm going to say, just tell me about ChatGPT. And then I send that message, and then ChatGPT will go off and it will prepare for me an answer based on the question that I asked. And as you can see here, it actually gives you quite a comprehensive answer. Okay, so to this question, tell me more about ChatGPT. It tells me it's a language model developed by AI. It's basically the information I gave you earlier. Here's some key characteristics and features. Okay, it tells you about how it's pre-trained, how it's fine-tuned, how it generates text, conversational abilities, etc. So this is something that you can figure out for yourself. The one thing I want you to take away from this one, this specific example is, this is how simple it is to use ChatGPT. You can ask it a question, you can make it a complicated question, or you can make it a simple question. It's going to give you an answer. Okay. Obviously, the more precise your question, the better the answer will be. And this is the wonderful thing about us being coaches, is we understand the art of questions. So for us as coaches to start asking good questions of ChatGPT is a very, very simple matter. Okay. So if I said you could ask simple questions and you could ask more complicated questions, surely there should be some format according to which I can ask questions that will bring more information. Okay, so once again, if I don't know, I can simply go and ask ChatGPT, what is the best way to structure a prompt for the best results? So what's wonderful about this tool is you can actually learn it by inquiring directly to the tool how it works. Again, it's going to give you a massive answer here, but I'm going to give you a very simple structure once it comes back to us. But here it will give you all the details about how you can structure a prompt or a question effectively in the way that ChatGPT will give you a good answer. So what I'm going to suggest to you is there's a very simple structure that I want to propose to you. And that structure is role, task, output, format. Okay, so this is a very, very, very simple way of structuring a question. So let us see what I mean with this. So I'm going to ask exactly the same question that I asked here, and I'm going to phrase it according to this structure. Okay, I won't ask the output format at this stage, but a little bit later I'll show you what I mean with that. But here I can go and I can say, acting as an expert ChatGPT user. So what I'm doing there is I'm actually asking ChatGPT to act as an expert user. Please, and now I'm going to give it the task, suggest the best structure to create a prompt. Okay, and you'll notice that if I structure it like that, there's a good chance that the information that is presented back to me will be different. Okay. So it's thinking a little bit. And let's see. It's going to give you a lot more information that I want to share with you at this moment, but we'll get there. Okay, but there you can see there, it comes up with a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, and it comes with examples. So this makes it really easy for you to pick up on how to use ChatGPT. Okay. Let's just pop out for a moment, and we'll come back to this. So that is just a very quick introduction into prompts and how to get information out of ChatGPT. Then the next step is to really go and consider what it is that you want to partner with ChatGPT with, and how you want to use it. And there's a couple of things that you need to think about here. First of all, if you're going to use this as a virtual coaching assistant, when you are working with your clients, you have to think, what can you use ChatGPT for and what you can't? And I'm going to suggest a few things a little bit later, so I'm not going to leave you swimming in the ocean on your own. But it's very important to think about this, on how you're going to use it and how you are going to integrate it into your coaching process. The other thing is also, you know your client best. You will know whether some clients will be open to using techniques like ChatGPT or not at all. Or you might choose to use ChatGPT in the background and not let your client know about it at all. So it's totally up to your personal discretion. The other thing that you have to think about as well is, and this differs from place to place around the globe, and it depends on the privacy requirements that your governments might have of you, is what is the kind of information that you're going to put into ChatGPT? For example, if your client is sharing confidential information with you, you might not want to put that in ChatGPT, because everything that goes into ChatGPT is eventually absorbed within the language model that provides answers to the next person who asks questions about it. So you might have to be very discreet about what information do you share with ChatGPT and what information you don't. Okay. As a good guideline, personal and private information you never share. Okay. And then you have to start thinking, as if you are going to be using ChatGPT for your coaching conversations, how much of that conversation is actually private and sensitive, and your client might not want it out there. Okay, so there's a little bit of thinking that you need to do around partnering with ChatGPT. So if we start looking at this, let me just go back to ChatGPT. Let me share with you another prompt, and you will now very quickly start seeing this format that I'm using. So I'm saying here, as, or I could have said acting as a virtual coaching assistant, what should I remember about partnering with ChatGPT? And if you click on that, you can also get certain suggestions from ChatGPT about what it thinks it could help you with. Okay. And of course, remember, how you ask the question will give you interesting information. Okay. So that's just another sample prompt. The next step is, ChatGPT is not just simply a database that's going to give you information. You can also share information with ChatGPT. And the thinking here is the more ChatGPT knows about your specific environment and your specific context, the better information it can actually feed back to you. Okay, so you could, for example, if you wanted to follow through on that, you could just simply ask ChatGPT, acting as an experienced ChatGPT user, what is the best way to share information with ChatGPT? And what this will do is it'll give you specific instructions and context about how you can share information with the tool. Okay, and I'm not going to go into each of these, but it tells you how it processes information. And this is something you can figure out with ChatGPT in the next few days. Okay, so I think let's step into the first topic that that a lot of coaches that I talk to actually struggle with. You know, typically, if you're an ancient dinosaur like me, I've been in leadership positions since probably the early 90s. So coaching and mentoring has always been a part of my life. And over the many, many years, I've learned a lot about what is the kind of questions that you can ask people and what's the kind of ways in which you can help people. But the truth is also, if you look at a lot of modern coaches, and especially new coaches, they don't always know how to do coaching. They've learned the mechanics, they've learned the processes from their trainers and their teachers, but they're not always sure about who they are as a coach, who their audience is, who the specific niches that they want to serve. And I found with a lot of new coaches, there's this absolute, almost, it happens to every single new coach, but I actually see it as a learning curve, that you go through a couple of kinds of coaching before you settle down in the kind of coaching that you want to do. So it's not uncommon to have a new coach that spends some time in wellness coaching, they've spent some time in life coaching, they've spent some time in leadership coaching, they've spent some time in creative coaching. And I mean, you can think of all the words you can add to coaching. That's how many specializations of coaching there are. But now, even if you settle on the type of coach that you want to be, there's some thinking that you have to do around that if you want to start a practice. So, and the very first question that you really have to spend some time on is, who are you as a coach and what's your specialty? In the previous session that I ran on brainstorming in chat, no, actually it was the session that we ran 2 weeks ago. I said one of the most important things that you need to figure out as a coach is, where does your expertise lie? Because you can't, some coaching trainers, they sell this dream. If you know how to coach, you can coach anything. And you can coach anyone. The problem, though, is if you're going to be working with senior leaders, if you haven't got the context of working with senior leaders, it's going to be very difficult to coach them in a way that is going to help them move forward. If you decide you want to be an innovation coach, if you don't know the innovation process, you are not going to be able to bring the best questions and the best thinking to the table. So if you decide to be a business coach, what do you know about business? If you decide to be a leadership coach, what do you know about leadership? Okay. And then the next big question that you have to ask as a coach is, what is your audience? Okay. If you are thinking of being the kind of coach that's going to be all things to all people, you are not going to find a lot of business, because no one trusts that the kind of coach that believe they're all things to all people have the detailed knowledge that will help them in their specific and unique situation. So it's really important to understand who are going to be your audience. And the nice thing is, this is something we can spend time on ChatGPT with. Okay. And a little bit earlier, I actually said, in the previous prompt, I actually said, how can you share information with ChatGPT? So I've pre-set up a prompt. Okay. And like I said, I'll share these prompts with you if you're interested in them. So I've set up a prompt here, and in this prompt, I'm saying I'm giving information to ChatGPT. So I'm saying to ChatGPT, I'm a coach who's been coaching leaders, individuals, and entrepreneurs for the past 15 years. Okay. I prefer working with people who want to achieve their goals in the context of their personal life purpose. Okay. So it's important for me to work with people that believe it's important to have a personal life purpose. Then I go on and I say, I've helped my clients with career development, reinventing themselves, achieving specific goals, and dealing with crises. Okay, so I'm telling them what I consider to be some of my strengths. Then I go on and I say, I'm interested in finding clients who are mature in their experience. So I don't want to work with people new to a career or new to a business. And they must be serious about their personal and professional development and growth. Okay, nothing as frustrated as a coach working with someone that don't see the necessity to change. Okay, I would like to charge a premium rate. Very important, because now I'm saying there's a certain class of client that I'm looking at, okay, that wouldn't mind paying a premium rate. And then I say, and I want to find the niche of clients who can afford it. And then I tell ChatGPT what my skills are. I'm skilled in NLP, coaching, leadership, and interpersonal skills. I'm very passionate about creativity and creative thinking, and integrate that into my coaching. And then I say, taking all of this into account, which would be a lucrative audience niche that I can target. Please state the audience in terms of ideal age and other useful demographics. And this is what I mean with there's some thinking that needs to go into the way that you set up the prompt. And if you think about it, it's no different than the kind of information that you would pay another coach for, and that they require to know about you in order to help you along your own personal development process. So let's see. So I'm going to hit the button on this. ChatGPT will go and think about it a little bit, and then hopefully it'll bring me a really interesting audience niche. And according to ChatGPT, it says to me, my audience niches are experienced mid-career professionals and executives. Okay. The ideal age, mid-30s to early 50s. Demographics, professionals, mid-level managers, senior executives, and entrepreneurs. Okay. Then it tells me, and this is interesting because I didn't give it any kind of information about the industry that I specifically have skills in. And it actually tells me, consider focusing on specific industries that align with your expertise. Okay. And it gives you a whole bunch of other information, and you guys can go and play with this. Now, here is one of the critical considerations that you have to make when you start working with ChatGPT. It's going to give you information, but the decision maker is still you. So just like you would pay another coach and take their advice with a grain of salt, you want to do the same with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is going to tell you as much information as it can based on what it knows about you. Okay. And then you have to have a look at it and say, okay, how much of this is actually usable for me? And maybe I need to go deeper and ask more questions about the information that I want out of ChatGPT. Okay. And we'll take an example a little bit later of going deeper. But I've worked with plenty of coaches that's been 2-3 years down the line in their coaching practice, and they're coaching left, right, and center, but they don't even understand the audience niche that they have. And this is the kind of strategic thinking that ChatGPT can help you with. Because not all of us have got the training and the skills to be a strategic thinker. And I'm going to take this one step further, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT to actually go and create for me a value proposition. Because now that I know who I want to sell to, and let's for the moment assume that I've got a 99% match with what ChatGPT just told me here. So now I'm going to say, okay, now I know who my niche is. How can I demonstrate to that niche that I'm valuable to them? So in order to put a value proposition together, just from a business background, I need to understand, first of all, who's my niche audience? What is it that they do specifically on a day-to-day basis? What is it that they want to achieve for themselves? So in other words, what's the gains that they want to make for themselves? What are the pains they want to get rid of? In other words, what are all the obstacles that are holding them back? Now, if you know, this is my audience, this is what they want, this is what they do on a daily basis, this is what they struggle with, this is what they dearly want, then I start getting a much better picture of what is the specific services I can offer that audience. Okay. And then I can say, these are the services that I can offer, and these are the specific pain relievers I have to help my clients with obstacles, and these are the specific gain creators I have to help them achieve the goals that they want to achieve. So what I've done, and I've just set up another prompt, and I'll talk you through it quickly. So, and now I'm saying to it, taking the previous answer into account. So I want ChatGPT to consider this answer that it gave me, and acting as an expert organizational designer. And you'll notice now I'm asking it to act as something else. And then I give it the task. Can you suggest a value proposition for the audience you suggested in the form? And now I'm giving it the output format. So this is how I want the information back. So I'm asking it in the form of a short audience summary. So I want it to summarize all of this stuff for me. The tasks that they will perform on a daily basis that may present themselves as coaching issues, their gains and goals they would love to achieve, their obstacles and pains they face, the products and service I may offer them, the pain relievers I can help them with, and the gain creators I can offer. So I'm asking it to give me the answer in that form. And then I give it through to ChatGPT. And it gives me an audience summary. It gives me the tasks that these people generally do on a day-to-day basis, leading teams and organizations, making critical strategic decisions, etc. What are the gains and goals they would love to achieve? Achieve career advancement and leadership excellence. I can immediately think about a bunch of stuff I can coach them about around just that first point. Obstacles, feeling stuck in their careers, I can immediately think of a bunch of things I can coach them about around that. And then I look, okay, so based on these obstacles and these goals, what are some of the products and services I can offer to this niche? I can do leadership coaching, I can do career purpose alignment, I can do work-life integration, I can do crisis management coaching, I can do organizational design consultations. Okay. And what are some of the pain relievers I can help with? Clarity and direction, stress reduction, decision support, purposeful leadership, conflict resolution. Okay, so by simply giving a little bit of information to ChatGPT, it's come up with a detailed description of a niche audience I can work with, and I can then go and see whether this audience fits with me or not. And then I can ask, okay, once I am happy with this niche, what is the value proposition? What will make me valuable to that audience? And it can create for me something like this value proposition that I have. Okay. So now I've already got great strategic assets on how I can look at the market. But now, of course, I want to go and sell this into the market. And now I can go and ask ChatGPT, for example, can you help me with a marketing message? Okay, because I'm not a salesman, I'm not a marketer. So I've designed another little prompt here that I've put in here. And I said, based on this value proposition, can you suggest a marketing message for a business based on the audience? Offer the suggested products and services and the benefits that can be expected. So it comes up with a little marketing message. And isn't this interesting? Because this marketing message is all about unlock your potential, achieve purposeful leadership and personal fulfillment. And the specific products and services, there's leadership coaching, etc. What's the benefits of working for us? This is the kind of information that you can take out to your audience. This is the kind of information you can go and put on your website where you advertise your coaching services. Okay, and you might want to tweak it a little bit, but the bare bones of what you need to start marketing yourself and your services and your products are there already. And of course, you can, I'm going to give you just another variation of that prompt. And I'm going to say, like the previous one, based on this value proposition, can you suggest a marketing message? And it's the same thing, but I'm saying it, can you structure this answer as if it's a personal response to a member of my audience? So I want to specifically talk to a person, not the whole niche. And ChatGPT gives me a personalized marketing message. This is the kind of thing you can put in an email to someone. Just give it a moment. There we go. Marketing. It's actually structured as a message that you can put in a letter or you can put in an email. And it takes that same information and it just reformats it in such a way that it's more personal. I'm now speaking to a specific person. And then, of course, what's the other marketing thing that's still missing for us? You know, when you're at the conference or if you just bump into someone, that 30-second elevator pitch. And is that something I can ask ChatGPT? Of course. So I can go and put up a prompt and I said, based on the marketing messages above, okay, and acting as a marketing specialist, can you suggest a 30-second elevator pitch? And look at that. Hi, I'm Francois, and I specialize in helping experienced professionals like you unlock their true potential. With over 15 years of coaching experience, I'm dedicated to guiding you towards purposeful leadership and personal fulfillment. Okay. There's marketing consultants that'll take you through a whole week of training just to set up a little 30-second message like this. I hope it's not too overwhelming, but what we've done here in a couple of minutes is we've really gone and we've dug deep into the strategic thinking and the marketing side of my coaching practice, which I have never been trained to do. So ChatGPT can help me step into areas where I'm not superbly skilled, and it can help me develop the basis of the marketing messages of my strategic thinking so that I can start marketing and rolling out this coaching business or coaching practice that I want to bring into the market. Okay, so that was just a very, very quick overview. So let's look quickly at I can see we're definitely going to overrun, but let's quickly have a look at some of the things we can do in terms of having ChatGPT as an agent that can help us with AI enhanced coaching. So there's many different ways in which ChatGPT can help us. And, you know, I can either go and figure it out, or I can simply ask ChatGPT how it can help me as a virtual coach. So, and I know I'm repeating this, but this is one of the most efficient ways to learn how to use ChatGPT. Just ask it what it can do for you. Okay. And what it will do is it'll come up with a whole bunch of stuff here. You can see it will facilitate role playing. It will encourage creative thinking. It will give you feedback and evaluation. So there's a whole bunch of things that ChatGPT can help you with. Okay. Some of the things that I use ChatGPT for in my coaching is I use it for pre-session preparation, and I'll show you an example of that a little bit later. I use it to help my clients set goals. I use it to help them with little exercises that they do, either whether it's prompt-based exercises or whether it's reflective exercises. I use ChatGPT to present alternate points of view. You know, one of the most useful things in coaching is the ability to step into a different perspective. And ChatGPT can step for you into a whole universe of alternate perspectives that you don't even know about. So you can use ChatGPT to help your client experience other perspectives than the ones that they immediately are aware of. The other thing is also, when you are using ChatGPT, if you are going to be using it in sessions, just make sure that it doesn't become a distraction. Okay, because it's easy to sort of go and start typing stuff into ChatGPT instead of paying attention to your clients. So that is something that you need to sort of manage and sort out for yourself. So let's maybe look at one or two examples. So one of the ways that I use ChatGPT for my coaching is for pre-session preparation. I'm going to use a very simplistic example here, but before any coaching session, I can prep ChatGPT with relevant information about my client, their goals, the focus of the session that I'm planning with them. And one of the things that I often do is, and it's just to sort of keep my mind on the process, is to ask ChatGPT for a checklist of all the things that I must have completed by the end of the session. So I'm going to just share with you Control C. So this is a example. I'm saying I'm meeting with a new client for a first coaching session, acting as an experienced coach. And based on all the information before, please advise me on what key points to prepare for in the session. Please list the information I should share and the key questions to be addressed in the session. Now, I probably know 70%. You can shake me awake in the middle of the night and you can ask me, what should I do in a first session? I can give you probably 70% of what ChatGPT is going to suggest in a moment. But for completeness sake, to make sure that my client gets the best interaction with me during the session, I want to know what are all the things I must remember to do. And there it tells me, this is the information to share with a new client. These are some of the key questions to address. Okay. So now I've got a little checklist, and as I'm working through this conversation with the client, I can just make a little tick in my mind. Yes, I've done that. I've done the confidentiality. I've explained the coaching process. If I wanted the client to know that I'm using ChatGPT, have I agreed it with them? Have I looked at their goals? Have I looked at their expectations? So this almost becomes a little checklist of all the things that I must do in this specific coaching session. Okay. I can also go and ask, because one of the outcomes there is prompt-based exercises. And I can ask ChatGPT, what does it mean? with prompt-based exercises. Okay, and it says to me, well, there's values explorations. That's a good one. Goal setting and visualization, strengths assessments, obstacle analysis. So I can even go as far as asking ChatGPT about the kinds of exercises that would be suitable for a first coaching session. And it comes up with this. And then, of course, I can go deeper. So one of the strengths assessment, that's one of the exercises that recommends. Now, if I didn't know how to do a strengths assessment or a values exploration, I can ask. So if there's certain techniques that looks interesting to you that ChatGPT brings to you, you can actually ask, how do we actually do this? And it will share with you detailed instructions on how you might do a strengths and values exploration with the client. This is one of the best ways. If you are interested as a coach to build your skills, this is one of the best ways, because it's going to come up with techniques that no one ever taught you. It's going to come up with techniques you've never heard of. And you can go in and you can go and see what are these techniques about, and then you can decide whether you want to add it to your skill, or whether this is something that nice to know about it, but I'm not going to use this. Okay. Okay, guys, I know we're going through this really quickly. There's one or more topics that I want to quickly address. And okay, I see we're running out of time. I use ChatGPT for an incredible amount of research. Almost always, if there's a new topic or a new concept that I don't know about, my very first step is to go and step into ChatGPT, and I ask it the 4 magic questions. Why is this important? What is it about? How do I do it? And what becomes possible? So those are the 4 questions. Anytime you want to learn something new, those are the 4 core questions that you always have to ask. So any topic that comes up that I think I might be interested in, that's the first thing I do. I jump into ChatGPT, I ask those 4 questions about that topic or concept. And then, based on that, I will make assessments on whether I want to, how formal I want this research to be, and then I can take it into academic research or big organizational research, etc. But for me, ChatGPT is the most invaluable tool to do early research about almost anything. And I've touched on knowledge building a little bit already. Not only can I build my own knowledge, I can also build knowledge around my business, my coaching practice. So, Daniel, the 4 questions, it's very simple. It's why, what, how, and what if. So why is this important? What is it about? How do I do it? What becomes possible? What if is what becomes possible. The what if also tells you, of course, the benefits. Why is this? What is this going to enable you to do? I will add those questions to the little prompt document. And if you ask for it, maybe let me just put my just take a note of my email address that I've just put down there. If you want a list of the prompts and those 4 questions, I will put it in a document. And if you send me an email to that, I will send you the prompts and the information that goes with the prompts. Okay. So knowledge building, for example, if you're going to be promoting yourself, you've got a marketing message, but you might also want to demonstrate value. So you might want to create a few blog articles. You might want to create content around what it is that you are good at and what value you can bring to a client. At the moment, I'm doing a lot of soft marketing for a conference that we are organizing for next year. The ACRI conference, which is a creative thinking and creativity conference. A nice opportunity to just plug this conference quickly. We're running it in March next year, but I'm developing a lot of articles around creativity and creative thinking. And I'm publishing an article every single day, every single business day. And I've been doing it since early August, and I plan to do this on a daily basis until this conference starts. And I use ChatGPT to help me write these articles. And I'll quickly show you how easy it is. And what ChatGPT does, it creates for me the basis of an article, and then I go and fine-tune it. I develop it further. I add examples, etc. to it. So let's look at a quick way in which you can write a little article that you can add to your website about your coaching practice. And what I'm saying here is, acting as a coach and author, please write a comprehensive article on how to prepare for the first session with a new coaching client. Okay, very simple topic. And then I say, now I'm going to give it the format I wanted in. Include what preparation needs to be done, the process and steps the coach should follow, why every step is important, and how a client should feel. Let me just fix that. At the end of the session. Okay, so off I go. And ChatGPT will now go and write for me the bare bones of an article that I can then go and edit and change. And look at that. You know, most people, I remember a few years ago, I did a creativity conference, and the facilitator, creativity course, and the facilitators, one was an author and the other one was a painter. And the one thing that they said to us, the thing that scares you the most is the empty page. People look at that empty page, people look at that empty canvas, and they can't start. And the artist went and he just drew a little rough star on the canvas. And he said, look at that. It's not a blank canvas anymore. Now let's start working. And for me, this is exactly the same benefit that ChatGPT does for you. You know, instead of sitting there for hours thinking about what is the content that you want to develop, let ChatGPT put the first mark on your canvas. And then you can use what's on the canvas. You can discard everything, or you can rewrite it, or you can add to it. But the thing is, you don't start with the blank page. Again, this is a very, very quick and easy way of developing content for your websites or for your email newsletters, etc. I'm not going to go through the brainstorming again. If you email me and you ask me, I'll send you a link to the session that we did on brainstorming, and you can go and watch it at your leisure. But you can actually use ChatGPT very, very well with great outcomes in terms of brainstorming ideas and alternatives, etc. Then, of course, let's quickly talk about event design and marketing materials. If you wanted to run, I always say as a coach, there's three basic service categories that you should provide. You should provide consulting, you should provide training, and you should provide coaching. And when people come to you for consulting, they will often buy training from you as well, and often will buy coaching from you. If someone comes into a workshop, you teach them a whole bunch of interesting stuff. They don't know how to do it for themselves. They can either then engage you as a consultant, or you can coach them through the process so that they could learn it for themselves. So you can also use ChatGPT to set up little workshops and doing marketing blurbs for it. So I'm just going to share two prompts for you around that. Control C. Okay. And so I'm going to put down a prompt and I say, acting as a coach and a marketing expert, can you suggest a structure for a 1-hour conference session targeted at coaches on the topic of being an effective coach in tough times? And this can be a talk, it can be a webinar like I'm giving here tonight. It can be a one-day workshop that you want to set up and you can have people pay for it. And you can ask ChatGPT. And of course, the more information you give it, the better the structure will be. So, but see what comes up just with the simple instruction like this. Okay, so it gives you a session a title, and then it says session duration 60 minutes. this is the objective of that session, and here's the agenda. And it actually breaks it down for you in little time slots. And it says, if you want to run a session on being an effective coach in tough times, we suggest these are the topics you should talk through. Okay. And once again, you don't have the empty page again in front of you, and you can then start editing this, or you can discard it and start with your own stuff, etc. But there you've got a very simple breakdown of a workshop that you can go and present. And then even better, you can go and say, okay, well, I am happy with that structure. Can you design a marketing blurb for this that I can send some emails out to sell this? Okay, and it will go and it will create for you a quick marketing blurb. Okay, so ChatGPT doesn't necessarily supplant your thinking process, but what it does is it executes it very quickly for you. You know, you can do things in hours which would have taken you weeks, if not months. You know, it takes a lot of the agonizing out of the things that you need to do to establish a good coaching practice. Okay, some considerations, I already touched on this earlier. There's some ethical concerns. Watch out how you're going to deal with your client's private information, with unique information that can make them identifiable. So these are things you should think about. Also, don't let AI become a crutch where everything that you do is based on an AI prompt. AI is there to help you do things rapidly. It's not supposed to replace the skills that you have. Okay, so you must remember, at the end of the day, you are the coach. Everything that happens as a coach in your coaching practice, you are responsible for that. And you need to focus on making sure that you don't lose yourself by using AI like a crutch or let it take over. Some of the quick benefits as a coach of using ChatGPT, just for the couple of things I talked through. It helps you with a lot of input in terms of preparation for any kind of work that you want to do as a coach. You can ask the question, what should I remember to do? What should I be focused on? You know, if you've been working, let's say you work with 5-6 clients a day, it's very easy to lose track, especially towards the latter part of the day when you start getting tired, because coaching is a very attention and energy intensive kind of job. So towards the end of the day, when you get tired, it's always useful to have a little checklist, to have a little reminder of, have you checked all the boxes? It can definitely enhance your coaching efficiency. You can learn lots of new skills. You can figure out what skills you can use with a specific type of client. You can talk about the coaching process. Charlie, who was in the call a little bit earlier, Charlie's still there. The other day, I mean, he just hit me with a couple of questions out of the blue. And we were talking about his specific speciality, which I won't. But we went and ChatGPT suggested certain routines that he could suggest to his clients. It suggested a nice niche market for him. So it just increases the efficiency of you as a coach without costing a lot of time. And at the same time, it increases your skills levels. The clients benefit from it because they get the benefit of expanded perspectives. You know, when they run out of ideas, you can introduce another perspective aided by ChatGPT. They are going to, because of this, they're going to learn a lot more, and they're going to get very specific and personalized guidance that are specific to them and their situation. So that's a couple of examples. Sorry, I was rushing it a little bit. I'm very aware of that we're over time, so I was rushing it a little bit there at the end. But I can hang around for a couple of questions if there are any interesting questions. I hope there are. Okay, Steve, it can give you your designs for Jumbo 747, probably, and ask it questions about the design. as far as there's information available in the public domain, I think it can help you with things like that. But let me stop the share. And if you have an interesting question, either drop it in the chat box or unmute yourself, or even better still, you'll see at the bottom there's reactions. And if you click on that, you can raise a hand, and then I can just answer any questions that you have in person. Ready, set, go. As a coachee, not a coach. Oh, does ChatGPT let me have a personal coach? So, Cam, are you asking? Cam, just unmute yourself and come.
Yeah.
Are you asking
I'm
from
not
the
a coach,
perspective
Francois,
that
but I mean, I
you
listen
want
to it. I think
ChatGPT
about how
to
you
be
learn
your
and
coach?
all the things you get.
Sorry, let
I'm
me
really
just
looking
check
at,
one
hey,
thing quickly.
maybe that could
I
be
can't
my
hear
personal
you.
coach. I mean,
I think
I've
the
engaged a professional
call is on
coach
my
twice as a
side.
retiree, highly valuable, but maybe I just engage one a
Okay,
little bit.
can you say
Use
something?
ChatGPT.
There we go. Okay, so just repeat what you said, Cam.
Well, I mean, I've engaged a personal coach twice as a retiree, highly valuable, asks wonderful questions, lots of
Yeah,
projects I'm working on.
yeah.
So can I balance off my expense of a personal coach with my free ChatGPT coach?
Of course you can. It's going to be a little bit tricky though, because you're going to have to spend a little bit of time in. It's not impossible. It's actually not even difficult, but it's tricky, because first thing that you're going to do is, if I wanted to do that, I will do the following. First of all, I would make very sure that I give ChatGPT all of the information about my personal situation. The second thing that I'll do is I will ask it, what would be the good structure of a coaching session? Then I would ask it, because you can do this, you can say, what would be the right kind of questions to ask to help me with the specific outcome that I want to achieve? Okay. And then what you can do is you can actually pose that question to ChatGPT and see what it says about it. So it's a process. And if you get your head around that process, sure, ChatGPT can be a great coach for you. I've used ChatGPT extensively for advice and guidelines and things that I wanted to accomplish, and it's given me great answers. Okay. Who's next?
Okay, I just want to say thank you. I use ChatGPT daily in my normal kind of work. And this was really interesting to look at it from a coaching perspective. I'm not a practicing coach, but I'm a certified coach. I'm planning to become a practicing coach. So this has given me a lot of things to think about, because I'm a business analyst, so I use it daily. So this is really cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosa. There's some incredible things that you can do. And if you are about to transition into becoming a coach, there's such interesting answers that ChatGPT can give you about setting up your own business, about setting up business plans if you wanted to do that. I mean, a while ago, I read a little article about this guy who actually said to ChatGPT, this is who I am, these are the skills that I have, how can I make $5 million in 12 months? And ChatGPT went and broke down categories of steps that he should actually take on his way to making that amount of money. And he went and he took each step and he followed it religiously, plus he actually expanded. If he didn't understand it, he asked more questions, and he dedicated himself, and he made $5 million in a year based on the information that was coming back to him.
Brilliant.
So yeah, if you're just going to kick off starting a new business, ChatGPT is your friend. I like to say to people, don't look at ChatGPT as just a piece of software on the internet. If you consider it as a valuable advisor, a trusted advisor, your attitude actually changes in the way that you ask questions to ChatGPT. So the interactions become a lot more valuable. So yeah, think about that. That ChatGPT becomes your partner. Okay, good to see you, Cam. Thanks for showing up. I missed Cam. Okay, Brian, question?
Yeah, again, and a comment, Francois, again, that was amazing, because just breaking it down like that, and absolutely correct, like that marketing skill and so on and so forth, that would not be one of my strong points, and is also a little worrisome. Am I doing the right thing? Am I putting the right thing out there? So that was amazing. Thank you very much. I know I do use it, a trusted advisor. That's a great way to put it. Absolutely a trusted advisor, and also for a little bit of a safety net for going into a session. Now, I do most of my coaching now outside face-to-face. I like to be face-to-face. So again, doing it by Zoom, having the ChatGPT prompts there and so on and so forth. But I suppose when I'm out, like today, at a coaching session today, actually it was a meeting pre-coaching, and then I found myself hiding what I brought with me. So I don't want them to see that kind of a way. So if I'm coaching, I probably would not want somebody to see. That's just me. Maybe it's wrong. To see the trusted advisors help, because maybe it's okay to leave that on the desk. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a new world. It's a new world of coaching. I just came off of coaching training, a team coaching training, or advanced team coaching training, and I did use ChatGPT a little bit. Now, the team coaching training did not really even mention much about it, which I was a little bit surprised about. And so, like, for exercises for the next day, I did go into it, and I was feeling like a genius that I really understood the course, because I was able to bring some of this the next day. So it is invaluable. There's a few different things I have in there.
Yeah, look, Brian, like I said, ChatGPT is coming up on its first birthday in a month from now. So it's fairly new, I think, because unless you are technologically skilled, you're probably a little scared of it. So I can see a lot of trainers not investing time and integrating ChatGPT into their coaching. There's also the fear, I think, that some coaching trainers think that ChatGPT might replace them. And I know a couple of trainers that should be replaced by ChatGPT. Okay, I'm just joking. But I can share with you, for example, I mean, I've done pre-session preparation with ChatGPT. After a coaching session, I've gone and put some information in ChatGPT and asked for feedback on what this potentially could mean, what this potentially, what actions can be taken. So what you can do is, if you understand the journey that you want to take your client through as a coach, you can actually map that journey against ChatGPT, and you can pick up between sessions what's the kind of feedback you should be providing your clients with, what's the kind of information you must prompt them with, what's the kind of exercises that you can prompt them with, so that they show up at the next coaching session with the right attitude, with the right preparation, and all the right knowledge, so that you can give them a really valuable experience. Okay,
oh, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do to support that coaching journey for you, for your client. Sorry, I'm done.
Thank you for that. There's one thing I did do, actually, as a little experiment. I asked the same ChatGPT coaching questions. No, I did not generate them as well as you did, by the way. So hats off to you for that. That was an amazing lesson, even how to formulate the questions. But I did the same for Bard and for ChatGPT. And they did give a little bit different, but again, not far off. But I did too. I did for both. I did. I tried the same kind of structure for this such a thing with Bard, and the same with ChatGPT. So it was interesting.
Yeah.
I guess one was more.
There's plenty of these tools. I just chose, and they all work in a very similar way. So what I showed you about ChatGPT this evening, you can go and try that on Bard. There's a number of other tools out there. Bing, I believe, has got a tool of their own. You know, a lot of these big organizations are all busy with this research. But you know what? Almost all of them access the same body of knowledge. You know, so there might be small variations in the answers, but it comes from the same source. So whichever is your tool of choice, you can use it exactly like I showed you tonight. And if you don't know, just ask the tool how to use it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the simplest way to learn ChatGPT. If you don't know how to do something, ask the tool, how should I do this? And it will give you an answer. Yeah. If you want,
I did prefer ChatGPT. I did like it better than Bard, to be honest with you. So yeah.
And the most powerful thing, and it took me a while to learn this. There's a very simple, considering everything that we've talked about, can you please answer this question? So then ChatGPT will go in that whole stream of questions that you've asked it. It will go and consider all of that, and it will answer it in the context of all of that information that you asked of it. And that's something that I discovered a few weeks ago, that you can do things like that, which is hugely helpful. But the simplest thing, and if you don't know, just ask. And the tool actually teaches you how to use it. If you are curious enough, and if you're not I worked in the IT industry for a long time, and people sometimes feel that they can't ask the question because it's a stupid question. Well, the nice thing about ChatGPT is there's no judgment. You can just ask the stupid question anyway. Besides, I don't believe I'm firmly of the belief that the only stupid question is the unasked one. Okay, does that work for you, Brian?
Yeah, it does, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, it really does. Yes. Yeah. Thank you again. Amazing. Thank you.